tell ourselves the truth. What is going on in the Northwest is the Housa Fulani fight. You know, we don't mention it. That is the bottom line. The Fulani man feels anytime he comes to town, he's molested, he's killed. The Hausa man believes that the Fulani man, using his headsmen, enters his farm and destroys his crops. So it's been a long time, I'm sure you're aware, it's been a long time issue that had not been addressed. So it's a political issue that should have been settled before. It had been allowed until it evolved to what it is today. Now, acts of criminality now came in. When acts of criminality came in, they felt that now, because the borders, you know, I mentioned the issue of porous borders where weapons are moving in and out, and that's why they felt that, yes, since their cows are being attacked, they too should be protected. And that's why you see major of them carrying arms. And before you know it, those that didn't have cows started into acts of armed robbery, small stealing, until it graduated to what it is now. Then the Boko Haram, with the hit they got in the Northeast, a lot of them moved. So it's a convergence of criminality that has come together to build up to what the acts of banditry. And the only way they make money is what? Kidnapping. When they kidnap, they make money. Now, the state governments, yes, in order to address that, I personally support civilian JTF. We use them effectively in the Northeast. But how did we apply them in the Northwest? What we did, the communities were the ones that identified youths that had character, you know, that were reliable, that were honest. They brought out those names, gave the state government brought them in, profiled them with the police and the DSS, the State Security Service, and then they were now handed over to the military. They were trained with the mandate to protect their communities, not to go and attack any other person. Because one, the military, the armed forces, we are not many, we can't be everywhere. There is no country that have security forces everywhere. So their own intent is, the mandate for them is protect your community while the main forces are coming. So you delay them until that. And that's how we have used them. And frankly speaking, they've given us a lot of, because one, they know the areas very well. They know the area, they can tell you where IEDs are, which routes are clear and all this. And so we use that correct. But what we found out in the Northwest is a lot of this were not done. And the danger is, don't ever allow a training to be viewed, the perception of that using one ethnic group. Like I told you from beginning, the issues were Hausa, Fulani. Now, if you have civilian JTF that is only Hausa, what would the Fulani feel? He will feel threatened. And that is what is causing the problem. If you sit down now to look at in Katsina State, how many have been killed so far? Because one, they operate in Northeast, they operate with the security forces. There is no operation they don't go together. So the security forces will give them that experience and the tactics to use. In this other area, they want to go alone. And you know that they've started also vendetta, starting to also settle personal scores. So they've derailed from the main objective of protecting their communities to settling personal. Some of them now have started settling land issues, marital issues, things that are not part of what they are supposed to be, because again, they were not controlled.
On the issue of the Northwest crisis, CDS, you know, you say you didn't mention it. It's a delicate, you know, it's a delicate thread or delicate line to discuss about the Hausa Fulani issue. If you ask me what is the difference between Hausa and Fulani, I'm an Hausa Fulani man. Most of the gentlemen you see here, they are Hausa Fulanis. Perhaps when we listen to the efforts of Katsina State tomorrow or thereabout, the deputy governor or with the commissioner for internal security will be able to tell us what is it really. But you know, our moral values have decayed. From our roots, the traditional leadership system has been eroded. You can see back home what happened. The traditional rulers have been made to look, you know, next to nothing. And they play a significant role. While growing, I never gave them a space. you know, I was never their fan. But, you know, when I grew into an adult, I got to realize that, yes, they contribute a lot to the security of our local communities, which also speak to the issue of, you know, community policing.
So virtually almost everyone. And I also want to appreciate the fact that the herder-farmer clash laid the foundation of where we are today. Of course, there was that crisis before. But what is happening today is criminality, and the issue of control of resources has also set in. We have abundant mineral resource, and most of the illegal mining activities that is going on in the country, particularly this northwest region. We have support for external factors over control of illegal mining activities, particularly in Zamfara and Katsina State. So much abundance of gold, lithium, name them all, we have them. And part of what we did to ensure that we support the security and try to deal with the criminality issue, we look at all that has been going on, inadequate resources, personnel and whatever on the part of the conventional security forces. And we have no option than to come up with a homegrown initiative or involve the locals to protect themselves. The recruitment process we went through was one that is supposed to be done even by the conventional security forces. Because no politician was involved in the recruitment process, we started with 8 frontline local governments, where we recruited 1,466 personnel. And the imams, the traditional rulers, and all the other opinion leaders were involved in vetting the people that we selected. And the training we gave them was a normal conventional training, because we have some retired military officers from the state who volunteered to train them along with the military training. So we deployed them back to their communities, and we have a joint operations. I want to admit that even if there is no synergy anywhere between the security forces and the locally trained vigilante or whatever, we have it in Katsina State. We enjoy the support of all the security forces. I personally, as a deputy governor, I coordinated the entire security operations, which we conducted at least for a period of 1 month to allow our people to go to farms. The military, the DSS, the police, all of them were involved. And we were monitoring weekly the performance, and we made sure that there's absolute synergy and control by the security forces on what the operations that was carried out by the Security Watch Corps. So also, we didn't even stop at the connected approach. We also look at the non-connected approach. We realized the role this traditional institution can play into this. For the first time, we recruited 6,652 ward heads and put them on payroll in Katsina State, just to support the security architecture. Apart from those that we recruited and trained under the Community Watch Corps, because virtually Katsina is more than 90% Muslim population, so we also had to involve the ulamas, the religious leaders. We have 2,550 mosques in Katsina State. We made sure that we recruited at least 3 people, the imam, the assistant imam, and the ladan. We put them on payroll, and they are also assisting us in preaching against this violence and other criminal activities. And they form part of the community security committees across the state. So these are some of the things that I feel that I should share with the Chief of Defense Staff and other people that happens to be around. And most of the other initiatives that we have done, I'll address it in my presentation tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy Governor. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me. This has been a very exciting session, and I couldn't have asked for a more eloquent and elaborate panel. General Musa sir, and Professor Prinsloo. Could we put our hands together as a show of appreciation of a very, very well articulated panel discussion? I think we can break off now. And